One of my favorite verses is John 5:17, where Jesus says, "My Father is always working, and I too am working." He's got his projects going, and he invites me to participate in this work of mission that he has to reconcile the world to himself. This valley is called Yawisla, and it's in the southern part of Bolivia. This is a community of Quechua people who were descended from Incas, and so they still speak that original language.
Chay panel solar, no? Mana.
Missionary work is something that God initiates. He sends Christians out to be his mouth and his hands and his feet in this world, and equips us with the gifts that we need for the places that we end up finding ourselves working in. To receive somebody who's hurting and send them out whole again, the way God heals people, that's extremely rewarding. The people here are very spiritual. They're not Christian, but they attribute everything that happens to them to a spiritual cause. And I try to come with my science and try and say, no, it's not that. It just depends on these natural laws. I certainly have a strong faith in God, but when I go into the clinic and I see a sick person, I approach them as I was trained to approach them, on a sort of a more biochemical basis. And it's been this long trajectory to include my faith and my ability to pray with patients for their healing. Some of the challenging cases are somebody who gets renal failure. And in the States, that's a treatable condition, but here it's really not treatable. And those are the cases where it's hard to know, should I just tell the person there's no hope for this and try and help them die with dignity? Sometimes I decide to try and do a whole lot, and I regret it afterward because the person died, and in the process I impoverished the family. The outcome does depend on what we do, but it also depends on God's help. But that's been something that it's taken a long time to learn, is how to integrate this good scientific training I got starting at Wheaton and realize that I am basically a co-worker of God's. He's the one in charge of whether this person is going to live or die, but he graciously invites me to have a part in his mission of restoring and doing what I can to bring health where there was illness, to bring peace to people who've only known fear, to bring knowledge of his fatherhood to people who knew nothing about him. That's been one of the great things for me about working in this place.